This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
It is ATL Day Ones. I am Jarvis. That is Tenitra. It is a Monday, a Magic City. Oh, never mind. No, a magical Monday. It is a magical Monday right here. Jarvis. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start the show off like that. Please forgive me. We want to welcome you into ATL Day Ones, a part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And we want to definitely thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we are free and available wherever you download your podcast. And don't forget, leave us a 5-star review. I will wonder about you if you don't leave us a 5-star review. Like, what are you paying attention to? What are you listening to not think that we're great? Well, appreciate you for doing that. And also, we got a lot of good stuff on board for today. The ATL Day Ones took a road trip this weekend with Falcons minicamp. We're going to talk about that. Also, is Desmond Ridder the guy? We're going to get into that discussion. And also, and for the culture, man, Albert Pujols got a chance to do something that he's never done before. He was on the mound. We'll get into all of that. But first, we got to start with the Atlanta Falcons. They had rookie minicamp over the weekend on Friday and Saturday. The rookies got a chance to talk to the media, Tenitra, and I think just from once they actually started practice, I think one of the biggest impression for me is just like Drake London is really big. Like when I saw him out on the field, the first thing that came to mind was a guy that played down there at Georgia Tech over there in the flats. And then he ended up being drafted by the Detroit Lions. I was like, this dude is really big. Like almost like I remember the first time I actually saw Cam Newton in person. And I just looked how wide this dude is. Yeah. Like I'm 6'5", I ain't no little dude. For those you don't know, I'm probably about 6'5", right around 365 right now. You know, so I'm getting in shape. I'm working my way down, but and I'm a pretty big guy. Yeah. And I know that. But it takes a certain type of dude for me to feel like, or the words to come out of my mouth and say, that's a pretty big guy. And that's exactly what Drake London did for me when I first saw him on Saturday.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I am pushing 5'11" and always have on 4-inch heels, so figure that.
Indeed.
So, for him to feel massive to me as well is that's a statement. But yeah, Drake London, well, it's like we asked Coach Arthur Smith about, and he kind of low-key admitted it, but didn't want cancel culture out there. Yeah, when you come across like 6 out of 7 of his receivers, when you go kind of, too deep down the depth chart, if you will, maybe even a little bit here, 3 deep, and almost everyone is 6'2" at a minimum, and almost everyone is 210 at a minimum. Yeah, you have a type. It's no different than a girl who has her type or a guy who has his type. Coach, you can have your type too, and that's not a bad type. That's a big body build. Some of it is even there's some speed there. Others of it is just I'm going to overpower you and get to this ball. So yeah, very encouraging and exciting to see Drake London. And of course, for me, I was always going to be looking to see what Arnold Ebiketie was doing. I don't care if all the dude did was lace up, like for real. Right. I just wanted to see somebody who was committed to edge rushing. Are you going to you laced up? Okay, we're good. But also one of the takeaways I had was conversation, and don't want to get too deep into it, so I'm just going to make it a high level comment about Desmond Ridder and John Fitzpatrick, Tyler Algier, all of whom spoke on Saturday along with AK. And one of the things that John Fitzpatrick even talked about was having a little sneak peek into what workouts look like, because at Georgia, it was as intense as what he saw in rookie minicamp for the Falcons. And then Desmond Ridder, you saw him at Senior Bowl. He talked about having a playbook that looks somewhat similar to Falcons. So that helped him to hit the ground running a little bit as well. I thought that was very encouraging, in addition to some of those guys, Drake London, Desmond Ritter already having some familiarity with each other, I believe using the same trainer, and are ultimately going to go out to California sometime between rookie camp and training camp to really get better. Loved it, Jarvis.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. It was great. It was a good feeling to be back out there on the field, and the smell of the fresh cut grass and the sticky sweatiness that's going on.
Not the sweaty, but okay.
Okay, all right. I was like, yes, that's not necessarily good, but yeah, that's what happened though. But it was definitely good to be back out there and see some familiar faces and get a chance to, get this thing started, because the more and more these things happen, the closer and closer we get to football, and Lord knows that's my sanctimonious type of time of year where I just kind of like, I get into it, right? One thing that didn't put me in a good place over the weekend, T, was the Braves lose the series against the San Diego Padres. It just seems like the inconsistencies with runners in scoring position, and it just seems like the Braves just can't get right. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. I mean, it's that up and down. We talk about it being the good, the bad, the ugly. And it's almost like every time we have the good, then we have the bad. And then we can never quite get away from the ugly. And like you, I was all excited thinking, okay, Braves have a legit chance to win this series. And it was sounding like it because I was listening on the radio, watching a little bit online, if you will, just kind of running around yesterday. Didn't get a chance to get to the park itself. But yeah, to get back in my car and hear not just that they had lost in extras, but 4 runs in the 11th inning. I mean, that was the scary part. Now, don't get me wrong, Jarvis. We always try to find the positive, and there was some good that we saw. There was good news about Ronald Acuna Jr. in the fact that no surgery is needed. He's still just going to be day-to-day on that groin injury, so that's still, to me, very encouraging. Kyle Wright to be able to bounce back, and this, of course, was yesterday. I'll speak on Saturday as well, but yesterday for him to bounce back after having given up 6 runs, getting tagged for 6 runs his last outing, but goes 4 2/3 Sunday with a no-hitter. That's pretty impressive, getting you almost to the 5 or 6 innings that Brian Sticker likes to get. And of course, Charlie Morton continuing his upward trend like we saw on Saturday. And finally, Jarvis, we gotta love it. You actually called this out on Friday's show, and who you wanted to see do well. And we saw some good things out of William Contreras. We also both agreed that it'd be great to see something out of Dansby Swanson, 2 home runs, and just doing the things for the most part on defense that we always love to see him do. So I'm going to park it right here for the good, because I know there's a little bit of bad and ugly we got to talk about just to keep it real.
You know what? The bad has to definitely be with how they struggle so much, with the errors, right? I think the errors, Olsen, Swanson, and Riley have each made 2 errors in the series, and they had one on yesterday against the Padres. And I think that was the thing that just, because that's something that we assume that they're going to be able to do, right? We talk about the defensive efficiency of Dansby Swanson and Matt Olson being a Gold Glove winner, and how Austin Riley has been so solid, just a solid corner guy over there on third base. So I think all those things that we expect them to do good, right? We assume that that's going to be right. And that's why I think it's so bad, because it's just like, this is not supposed to be happening,
right?
Like you can be like the ugly. I'm just going to let people know the ugly is most definitely how they could struggle in the run with runners in scoring position,
right?
But that's something that we've seen, right? That's something that we kind of understand. But to see them out there making errors, that's just unlike this team.
Yeah, that was a head scratcher for me as well, because like you said, with Dansby, he's among the leaders in defensive effectiveness in the league. And we always have had, not just in the run to the world championships, but the last few years, we've had conversations, nothing but positives about the Braves on defense. Again, that's our go-to. That's what you assume will be there. I put actually runners in scoring position in my bad, because I felt like it was even uglier to see that defense to be leaky. So I kind of put that as my ugly, because I'm like, now that is unacceptable, especially because it's hard enough, Jarvis, getting all of everything to function on all cylinders, right? But you always want your mainstay to be able to function, or at least looking at the bullpen, if you will, which have moments of leakiness too. Jackson Stevens. But anyway, you hope to not see that, because one of the questions that I asked was, okay, so we are not panicking here, but it's May 16th. We're inching ever so close to Memorial Day, which is sort of that first line of demarcation in the season of where you are. So what are you going to do? What are we going to see going forward? What are we going to see tonight? Braves won the series last weekend against the Brewers at home. Are they going to be able to get another series win in this 3-game series that starts tonight? We'll see Ian Anderson. Hopefully it's the up Ian Anderson.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But to me, that was the ugly, because I'm like, come on, man, not defense. This is, you guys, you hang your hat on that.
Yeah. That's the thing that you think that needs to get corrected like immediately, because it seemed like it was just a lackadaisical throw when Dansby Swanson made that error to Matt Olson, and got things kind of going for the Padres. So hopefully tonight they get it corrected, and hopefully we see Ronald Acuna. He had, by the way, just a quick note, he had an MRI, and they said everything turned out fine, and he's day to day. So, and they said that if he feels well when he gets to the park today, he will play. So that's good news. And hopefully Ronald Acuna can give this lineup some juice that they need.
Oh, yeah. That's why I let my good off with that being my number one good. Like, Ronald Acuna Jr. is day to day off that groin injury.
Yes.
That's to me, that was the best of the good.
No doubt about it. And speaking of juice, Desmond Ritter's trying to bring some juice to this squad. We'll talk about why. We understand why the Falcons may have drafted him. That's next on Locked On Sports Atlanta with ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T.